Hello, Andy Cooper from RMS Motoring and the Soul to Scene podcast, and today I'm in the Hyundai i30N Performance. Now, part of the reason I'm in the car is I've always wanted to try one. In fact, it was probably the car that I thought of looking at before I bought the GR Yaris, but I never actually got to look at one. And then Fabia Paul, one of our listeners to Soul to Scene and was on the forum and lives in Australia, was looking for a new hot hatch and was asking our advice. And the three cars he was considering was one of these, the i30N Performance, or Focus ST, or the Golf GTI, but he was heavily leaning towards this. So I asked Daily Hyundai, who kindly came and sorted me out with one of these. We've already discussed this on the show, but we'll talk about it again because now I've actually had a chance to drive one. This is the 21 car, brand new. It's the DCT car, and it is 33.5 grand, so similar sort of money as Golf GTI, and in fact it's exactly the same money as the Circuit Pack GR Yaris as well. So what's it like to drive? What's it like to own? So looking around the outside first of all, and we have this lovely Performance blue paintwork. It looks really well in sunlight. It is very pale, but it is the iconic colour that you associate with the N brand, and it suits the car really well. But the styling is really subtle. It is quite cue car in its appearance. It is some very, very subtle lips and skirts in black around the car and a bit of red detailing, and this car has a gloss black roof spoiler and some nice looking exhaust tips, but apart from that it's fairly understated. And if you need to fly under the radar, and this is possibly the way to go. Of course, people who know the N brand will know the cars, and of course there are some giveaways. So these lovely, they look great in real life too, these grey 19-inch wheels on Pirelli rubber, lovely big 360mm discs behind there, and the brakes are strong, and the car just sits really well, and everything looks well proportioned, and even the arch gaps and all are small, but not ridiculous. I just think it looks quite smart. And inside, okay, it's perhaps not at the German rival levels of quality, but what I will say is it's a nice place to be. A fantastic 10-inch TFT screen in the middle of the dash here, so driver modes, sat nav, CarPlay, it's all there. It's fairly logically laid out, and has a pretty good performance management mode for adjusting all the features of the car, so everything's adjustable. It has an e-diff, so you can select how aggressive that is. You can change the gearbox settings to Sport Plus to make it more aggressive in shifts. Throttle response, steering as well. Although, in fairness, I have most things in normal, but the engine and gearbox in Sport Plus, because actually when you adjust that suspension into Sport Plus, it is rock solid. It's too much for RB roads, so as usual, dial everything back to comfort in the suspension side of things, and then everything else up to the max to really deal with things. Just let these people filter in. Yep, come on ahead. So yeah, it's good. You can map the driving modes to a couple of buttons on the steering wheel, so you can at one touch push you can get all your settings ready to go. And if you're really on it, you can get some crackles on over on, which some people like. Wasn't necessarily my thing, but it's a nice wee party piece. It's a big car, like it's big enough you could use it for family, you get a couple of kids in the back and all the rest. So from a practicalities perspective, compared to the Yaris, which is a lot smaller and a lot more compromised because of the four-wheel drive system, this is just maybe an easier thing to live with day to day. Now, performance-wise, goes really well. You can hear the fast DCT shifts, and not only that, but you have a array of performance modes. You can tweak it's an EDIF on the front wheel drive, of course, and you can configure that, and it has configurable suspension, and the gearbox you can switch it into a Sport Plus mode for faster shifts and all the rest. It also has this mode we call N-Grin mode. It's an N-Grin shift, actually it is, and that gives you 20 seconds off everything. I don't know if it gives you extra boost or it's like an overboost mode or something like that, but you turn it on and it seems to open the valves and the exhaust, and you get crackles and bangs, and actually gives you a nice sort of flat shift. So I was in the dry getting some wheel chirp out of the front end as it was thumping through the gears. I actually think it gives a wee bit more accelerative gear change, which doesn't really sound good for the box, but makes it quite interesting to drive. What's strange about that mode though is you only get 20 seconds at a time, so as soon as you hit the NGS button, you get a countdown timer, and if you come on and off the button, you can save up your seconds, and if you use all your 20 seconds of N-Grin shift, you have to wait till it builds up again. So again, the day-to-day livability of this has the optional N performance seats. They're slightly more lightweight, actually as are the forged wheels. I presume that's maybe to try and offset some of the extra weight that the DCT box has been. The car's about 1,400 kilos ish, so it is heavier than the GR Yaris, but it's probably not as heavy as some of its rivals like the Golf, or they're all there or thereabouts. So the part of weight is comparable. It certainly doesn't feel lardy or heavy. It feels lively and exciting, and it feels like good fun.